support. Thank you guys for the continued support. Continue to hit the like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell because I upload videos every single day. Now, obviously, the big news is the Dak Prescott injury. A lot of people are talking about what's happening with Dak and his contract and his injury and prayers and everything. You know, I've already done a video about Dak, about his chances of not playing. Like, there's a good chance we may have seen Dak Prescott for the last time in a Dallas Cowboy uniform. And today I'm here to kind of talk about why it doesn't really make sense for the Cowboys to pay Dak at this point. And here's why. So Dak, as we all know, Dak and the Cowboys were not able to reach an agreement during the 2020 offseason. Right after the 2019 season, they weren't able to get a deal done. Dak wanted 4 years. Cowboys wanted 5 years. Dak wanted upwards of $40 million. Cowboys wanted him in that between 33 to 35 range, and they just weren't able to get a deal. Dak wanted a contract similar to what Deshaun Watson got, which is 4 years, $160 million, roughly 110, 11, 12 million guaranteed. I don't have it in front of me, but that's essentially what Deshaun Watson got, and that's what Dak wanted. The Cowboys more so willing to give him a 5-year, an average of $35 million a year kind of deal. That's really what they wanted. And obviously and Dak felt like he was worth more. The Cowboys didn't think so. So they franchise tagged him, and he's like, all right, I'll bet on myself and play under the franchise tag. Well, that's the sad thing about the NFL is it's a violent sport. And so everybody gets hurt. There's nobody that goes uninjured in it. Everybody gets hurt. Even quarterbacks. Your favorite quarterback got hurt at some point. You play long enough, you're going to get hurt. Drew Brees messed up his shoulder. Brady tore his ACL. Peyton Manning messed up his neck, and then everything towards the end. Like, everybody gets hurt in the NFL. Like, it doesn't matter. Odell Beckham was broken an ankle. So, Michael Vick broke a leg. Like, I can go through the list of name your favorite player. He got hurt at some point during his career. And so I say all that to say this. The reason why it doesn't make any sense for the Cowboys to pay Dak at this point, because if you weren't going to pay him before the season, Dak wasn't able to show you anything differently this year. He only played 5 games. They were 1-3 in the games he played in parts of 5 games. He didn't finish the 5th game. They were 1-3 in the 4 full games that he played. And there was nothing different. There was nothing that he showed you in those 4 games that he didn't show you over the past 4 years. And so, therefore, if y'all didn't come to an agreement before then, ain't no way in hell Dak earned his $40 million contract this season. I mean, y'all tell me, am I going crazy? How can you earn $40 million if you only played in parts of 4 games or 5 games, and y'all were 1-3 in the full games that you played? He didn't do anything to earn any more money. Now, he was having career years and numbers and all the passing yards and touchdowns and all that stuff. That's because they were losing. They were always losing. Now, that's not always Dak's fault. The defense was horrible. The defense is historically bad. Historically bad. Very, very bad. Very, very bad defense in Dallas. Like, horrible. And that's not Dak's fault. But that in the long term may have played in Dak's favor, because at the end of the season, if he would have been able to finish this season, he would have been able to say, look, I threw for 5,000 yards and 35 touchdowns and only so many interceptions, only so many turnovers. And maybe he had a case. But he's not able to say that, unfortunately, because he did have a compound fracture, and he will be out the remainder of the season. So now there are just too many factors that aren't in factors and variables that are out of Dak Prescott's control. Because here's the thing. The defense in the 4 games that Dak and the 5 games that Dak played in was horrible. I'm not saying that they're going to flip the switch overnight and become the 85 Bears, but maybe they could improve, right? So say that defense improves some. And so say that defense improves and Andy Dalton, who is no scrub, plays well. What happens then? What happens if Andy Dalton, the rest of the way, wins 6 games? They go 8-8. Or wins 7 games, they go 9-7. And Lord behold, they win 10 games. What happens then? This division is horrible. This division is god-awful. The Washington, the Eagles, the Giants, all of these teams are bad. Very bad. So the chances of Dallas winning the division, just simply off talent and coaching, is highly likely. The chances that Andy Dalton plays well is also likely. Andy Dalton's no scrub. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. He has a winning record as a starting quarterback in this league. He's been to the playoffs multiple times. So now there's just too many factors that are at play. Say Andy Dalton catches fire and has a career year. There's a lot of weapons in Dallas. We saw what Dak was doing. Not to say Andy Dalton's Dak, but he can put up some numbers with Gallup and CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper and Zeke in the backfield. He could do something. They never have no talent like that in Cincinnati. They had some good players, not them guys. Not Gallup, Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Zeke. And say if Andy Dalton plays well. Hell, say Andy Dalton takes them to the playoffs and they win a playoff game. Hell, they win 2. Not to say, I don't think this is highly likely, but it's likely. And there's nothing Dak can do about it. Say if Andy Dalton takes Dallas to the NFC Championship game. I ain't going to go as far as the Super Bowl because I just don't think that's realistic at all. But these things are possible. And so, and the fact that they're even a possibility and there's nothing Dak can do about it, it just doesn't make sense for the Cowboys to pay him in a long-term capacity.